Hello and welcome to the HGC Gamers Club. My name is Daniel and today's video is going to be power supply repair. Got a bad roach system in, pulled the power supply apart, gave it a good bath, figured got a little bit of time and I'm working late, I might as well just make a video. So I'm going to show you how to test it out. It's an older one, it's the 1001A ADP 240 AR. I'm going to let you get a good look at that. I'm going to show you how to test it yourself, although I would highly recommend against you trying to repair your power supply. If you don't know anything about electronics, haven't gone to school for electronics, let me tell you this much straight up. You go messing with a power supply, you're likely to burn your house down. And if you're repairing these things for somebody else and you don't know what you're doing, you're liable to burn their house down. So if you're a storefront and you're hiring unqualified repair techs, I would recommend you quit doing power supplies because you are liable. Okay, now that that's said, let's get to it. Alright, let me pause this for a second and get you right over the top of the power supply. Okay, here we are. Now, with the power supply being open and exposed like this, and this was a roach infested box, this power supply was excessively nasty. It's been cleaned very well, basically come powered up. So if you got a power supply open to this point, keep in mind the back side of this has open exposed contacts, so don't put your finger behind this and then plug that in, for Christ's sake. Alright, be very careful about plugging your power into that, and then be real careful about how you wiggle it around. Alright, so once you get the power into the system, you need to turn the power supply on. That's done over here on this port. Now I just take this here, it's a little tester I made specifically for this particular power supply. I have others for other power supplies. On this particular power supply, if you take a pair of tweezers, do I have some? You can touch the outside two pins and that will activate the power supply, but you won't have room to test the 5-volt rails in here, so that's why I use this. So if you listen closely, when I plug this in, you'll hear the switch kick in. Hear that little click? Can you hear that? Alright, let me get the door. Okay, got the door. Alright, so now we're going to take our meter and we're going to drop this down to 20 volts DC, and we're going to test the power output. Oh my gosh, looky there, 11.90 volts, just about 12 volts. That's exactly right on where it should be. Okay, and 4.72, perfect, and 4.72, perfect. Well, it looks like we're not going to be doing a repair video, because it would seem that the bath I gave this thing took care of the problem. It was just so nasty that the poop was shorting out components. Okay, let's get this unplugged. Oh, it'd be a good idea to turn that off. There we go. Okay, so we have a good board. Okay, so since we have a good board and we're not going to be doing a repair. Shit! 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 Yeah, these these large capacitors hold a lot of voltage. I just dog shit shocked the living crap out of myself when I touched that. Look at that. 3 little tiny burns. Okay, that's why I say you should never test these things while it's powered up, and you should give them plenty of time to power down before you go testing stuff on them with a multimeter. You're liable to burn your multimeter out. Okay, let's see. I'm going to put this under the microscope. We're going to get a real close view of that and that. We're going to kind of look around real close, see what the roaches have done to this system. So let's switch over to that. Oh, but before I do, I was planning on doing a video tutorial, basically going over every last testable component and then giving you the values, breaking the board up into sections so that you could test out your board if you need to and want to. And then for those who are doing repairs, if they wanted to occasionally post whenever they successfully repair a power board of the same model, to comment with a list of the components. That way other people who are testing out can go, if they find that one of the components that they listed was burned out, to actually be able to go check some of the other ones that they listed, because a lot of times when something is shorted, it'll burn out approximately the same components as the other ones, sometimes more, sometimes less, but approximately the same ones will burn out. It just depends on where the short is. So if the short originated over here, it would burn out specific components, and if you list them components in the as a comment, I can add them to the description of the video for common components that burn out with other components. And then I'll also list up the places where I've seen roaches wipe out the boards, so that you can put a little ATV over the top of that area to prevent future roach shorts. I think I made one video pretty much covering up all the high voltage areas, but yeah, it's just a thought. If you guys are interested, hit me up in the comment section down below, and we'll make an interactive repair video for each and every one of the power supplies. Now, them take a little bit of time to do, and I'm willing to do it. I'll even show you how to make these. Okay, let me switch over to the microscope camera, and I'll get that up so we can take a really close look down in here, because it looks like they burned a couple of spots in there, and we'll look around in here with the microscope camera really close. Okay, so we got you in the microscope camera. Get this focused out a little bit. There we go, nice and crisp. Alright, so the 2 pins you want to short to activate the power supply is on each end, the AC/DC standby and 5-volt ground. Different power supplies have different pins, but they still marked the same. Okay, this is ADP 420 AR AA revision. That's just a spot that didn't quite get cleaned up, and we're just kind of looking around. You can see all of the roach remainders and corrosion. This thing was like seriously bad. I gave it a serious bath, scrubbed it up, ran it through a drying process. Okay, there's the caps. It's kind of hard to see at this angle, but there's some corrosion going on right at the base of the leg. That's most likely where a roach shorted out against the leg itself. And a little bit on the other cap. Let's kind of look around here, see what we got going on. Yeah, with the exception of the board being just a little bit dirty and a little bit of corrosion on that leg, which can be cleaned up a little bit more. Board actually looks pretty good. So I think we're just gonna end it here and stay safe and happy gaming. And don't forget to stop by the hgcgamersclub.com. I'm trying to raise funds to get kids free game system repairs here locally that can't afford them. If you help me out with $1 or $2 on the donations, I put up giveaways. I give you guys extra entries or exclusive entries in them giveaways just for making a donation. Thanks.